It is 7:44 almost. Welcome back. The U.S. Supreme Court has made religious liberty a key part of its docket this term, with 3 cases testing the constitutional limits of faith in the public arena. Yesterday, the issue was about whether a state can contract with a religious charter school using public funds.
All right, so let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes to talk about this. So we're 3 major cases here, but when we talk about this charter school trying to get government funds, this is a case out of Oklahoma. Kind of break down what they're trying to do here.
They want to be able to use access for public funds for charter schools that is a religious base. This is being pushed by a number of states, but this is the first one to make it this far. For years, it's been a separation of church and state, and I can say that this case is going to unlock a number of things. It just won't affect charter schools. It will affect every school. It will affect every school here in North Carolina. And so I think people are watching, or at least should be watching, this case, because it also is split across the board. You have the superintendent, and ironically, I watched this video the other day of him talking about this case and how there was a need and how there were families calling them, every day about when can we get these charter schools open that are supported by religious doctrines, religious teaching, but being able to be funded by public dollars. But on the other hand, you have the Attorney General of the state, who also is a Republican, that's saying, you know what, no, I want nothing to do with this. You guys are out of line. And he filed a challenge against the state and said that this is not right. You guys have authorized them to open this school. They sued. They were able to get the state to say this is something they can't do, and now we made it all the way up to the Supreme Court. I think this is a case that is right for this court. There's a number of other moving parts in terms of how I think it will move, but right now we're here based on the challenges, even the internal challenges within the Republican Party, because those are the folks that kind of pushed this forward. But then the main, prosecutor in the state was like, wait, I don't think I can support this. I'm going to go against it, and that's how it kind of found its way here.
Charter schools are deemed public in, of course, Oklahoma, which is where this is happening. 45 other states, including North Carolina. There's 200-something charter schools. They are free. They're open to all. They do get state funding. They abide by anti-discrimination laws. So when we're looking at this case, and you said this could affect North Carolina and more than just charter schools, what would the trickle-down effect be for North Carolina if this decision, depending on which way it goes?
The last portion is that charter schools also are not subject to school boards in that local area as well. Right. So they follow everything else except for that last portion. That's the reason they created the charter schools. That I don't want anything to do with the local elected school boards. That no taxation without representation. Having folks that speak and control and dictate what your schools are going to do, they don't have to answer that. That's the reason they're charter. Everything else is public except for the overhead authority portion of it. But to your question, it's opening a larger box, and this is what I think that they're not anticipating. This is what the Attorney General of the state said, but none of the folks that are pushing this are thinking about this, because they're only looking at it from a Christian perspective. They're not looking at it from a religious perspective, and I say religious with air quotes, even though I'm not on the screen. I want folks to recognize that in the letter of the law, religion could be anything that you say it is. So it doesn't have to be an established religion. There is a codified law that says that I can say my religion is blue suits today. So I'm going to open up the blue suit religion, and now the state would have to fund blue suit religion. It doesn't have to be a religion that is massively followed, so it has millions of Islamics or millions of Buddhists. It doesn't have to be that. And so that's what folks that don't understand the intricacies of law don't get, that religion isn't just these top 4 or 5 religions. It isn't these satanic religions that you're scared of. It's anyone that can say, I have a truly held religion, that I have rules and I have context. Now it's a religion. So if you're saying that this is a religion, if you're going to fund this for Christianity, this Catholicism, this Catholic school, then you're also going to have to, because we'll have to have equal justice, have to fund these types of schools. And this is what the Attorney General argued, the argument that folks aren't getting, that's outside of, yes, this is great for me, but what other opportunities does it impact and what opportunities does it open? So while you're on one hand saying you're discriminating against Christians by not letting them open these types of schools, you're also going to open your door to folks saying you're discriminating against my made-up blue suits religion that I just made up yesterday. And that's why we have this no public-funded, state-sanctioned religion. So that is going to be the problem that I think our founders addressed with the Constitution, with this First Amendment, with this separation portion, but I think folks are too far from that and are only thinking about what's in their best interest. And I think our founders were a little bit smarter than we're giving them credit for.
I think, Jason, that would be part of the blue suits religion. I'm just going to point that out there.
True.
break down the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause, because you got two questions here on the Constitution, and how do they factor in?
Well, again, Congress shall establish no religion and the funding portion. So if you have congressional dollars that are going to these public schools, they're trickling down from Congress to these individual states, I should say from the federal government that Congress has earmarked to the individual states, and then you're saying I'm going to give them to a specific school that only caters to a specific religion, well, then that would seem like it's going against what the Constitution says you can't do. That is the major harp of the argument. And if we look at the votes, and this is the part that I think if I have a crystal ball, I'm saying where we go, we have Barrett that recused herself. So we only got 8 folks. We got 4 conservative justices that are saying basically you don't have to present any evidence. We're going to rule in this favor. You have the 3 liberal justices that are saying the exact same thing. Roberts has wrote 3 opinions on this matter in the past. He talked about it yesterday. However, he said what you guys are asking me to do is way more and deeper and more state integrated than what I did before. Before we were talking about parks. Before we were talking about, building a couple of things. You're saying you want us to pay for this entire school that is wholly religious based. And I think that is going to be, we know Roberts is going to be the vote, but I think his statements, his questions back and forth is going to say, how do I support this? And right now, if I'm a gambling man, I think it's not happening. I think Roberts pushes, he punts right now, and if he does that, it's tied 4-4, and then the state's decision to reject this would hold. And so I'm playing a couple steps down the line, but I think if we look at the vote when it comes to a tape, that there will be a 4-4, and then whatever happened in the state, which was the state rejected their application, then that's what would occur.
All right. Wow. Definitely a lot to go over there. You mapped it out beautifully, though, Khalif. So thank you so much for that.